as we start off in the top right corner of the map for this best of 7 with the blue Terran player. This is Reynor. You have a feeling they're going to cheese a bunch? Yeah? I think there'll be a couple of macro games between these guys, to be honest. I think that's not too crazy of a concept. Bottom left, the red Zerg player. This is, again, full reverse race series. So they're going to play opposite races the whole way through. In the bottom left, we've got Clem for game 1 of this best of 7. Reynor strikes you as a proxy Rax enjoyer. Yeah, does he? Wow. Some that's borderline BM, no? Wow. That's accusationary. Let's to say the least, okay? That's accusationary to say the least. Oof. Oof. Alright, a couple of extractors gonna get on the go. As we'll see what the heck this series has in store for us. I don't really know what to expect between these two. Like I say, I was getting ready to end my stream. I was literally just on Wikipedia, and all of a sudden I saw and noticed. I was like, whoa, Clem Reynor? And then I was like, reverse race? Okay. We can come and cast this, so a little bit of extra StarCraft, because why the heck not? And yeah, let's hope it's a good one, as we do have a hatch, gas, and pool all coming through early. Just going to see that command center coming about as well for a couple of moments here in these early stages. And we'll see what the plan is and where we're going to go to. As Reynor's going to pause. Wow, this guy. So yes, this is going to be reverse race, best of 7. Clem says no worries. What if it's a problem for me though, Clem? You know, what if it's a problem for me? Did we think about that? Did we think about that? I don't think he did.
Game resumed.
Alright, we're good though. We're back, just like that. Ready to party. Couple queens on the way through. Obviously nothing too crazy just yet, as we take a couple of moments early and we get set up and see where things are going to go to. See what is going to happen. Just going to be having that Reaper starting to dance around early as well. It's just going for a little bit of party action in the early stages. And we just have our command centers coming up. So we're going to play the triple command center here. Clem build into that link speed, and we'll see what the plan is going to be in the near future as we get this going. This is a show match. Yeah, this is a best of 7 show match. I believe it's $200, $150 for the winner, $50 for the loser. But yeah, just a little $200 show match put on by Saber from the Chinese community. They're getting ready to run a regular cup series again, so that's very exciting. I'm genuinely very intrigued to see how that goes and to see what is going to come of it. So yeah, very much so looking forward to that as we get up and rolling. And like I say, look a little chance to see what's up and what's happening in these next few moments. We've seen a couple Hellions. The Reaper going to make their way out down that bottom side, so Reynor wants to try and find an opening here. Banshing the Hellion on the way up, lair building on the side of Clem, so he's just going to go straight into that lair. Not too unsurprising either. Obviously give you some tech options in this game, so it's just going to be Lings and Queens for the moment from Clem. As obviously that lair comes up, the Banshee, the Hellions, and the Marine coming through as well. What's actually kind of fun between Reynor and Clem playing their reverse race here, which reverse race just meaning that they're playing the main race of their opponent, is obviously these two are now both known as, you know, being kind of off-race players as well. Clem's obviously made a big name for himself playing Protoss over the last year or so. Reynor also played a lot of good Protoss. You know, he took that map off Serral on that Radusset Station in Home Story Cup. So, you know, like, Reynor's played some very good off-racing as well. But their off-races that they prioritized were Protoss. So that means their reverse races are both of these guys weaker off-race as well, which I think is obviously very cool and very funky. So it's just going to be seeing the couple of queens going to get bopped around for a moment or so there. And we will see where we are going to go for the next few moments, as we just have the factories on the way up, a couple of Hellions coming by, and yeah, a little check to see what's going on for the foreseeable future here as the evolution shimmers continue to come along now. For the moment, the bracket command's wrong. Yeah, I can put something up. Give me a second. The FPS will drop for a moment or two. I did find this on Wikipedia. Hang on. There you go. Let me just do that for the YouTube channel as well, guys. Give me a sec. Give me a second. A surprise Reynor Clan best of 7. Isn't that fun? Just out of nowhere. Sorry, guys. The FPS will be low for a second. Reynor's playing mech, by the way. He did tell me he was going to play... He did tell me he was going to play... He did tell me he was going to play some Cyclones, so... not surprised to see him playing some mech. He's been very vocal about, obviously, the Cyclone bug and them not quite working as they should be and so on, so... Not too surprising to see him out here and doing his thing to try and get them back on track, you know, really showing that these Cyclones are OP. There's Clem trying to push back these Hellions right now. He is going to start going into Roaches, missile upgrades coming up. Roach roaring about to finish, so it looks like Clem is probably... Honestly, if you're Clem in this series, I think you just play Roach openings pretty much every game. If you can play Roach openings every game, I think you'll be pretty happy. As the command center steps through, Engineering Bay coming down, the factory building, command center still building, Infernal Pre-Igniter cloaking on the way. As what are you getting the cloaking for? Sorry, is that for the Banshees? Okay, so we are going to get Banshees in the end, it seems. Just interesting because usually we kind of open more so with the Banshees. That wasn't really the case here, but we are adding some Banshees on. And there's a couple that are already out onto the map, so that's one thing we can keep an eye on. As that Zergling is going to get taken down as well. The Cyclone's still there. Hitting the Overseer. More Ravagers just going to come morphing in. +1 missiles, +1 Carapace. Roach speed halfway done. The Burrow upgrade coming up. An Infestation Pit coming about as our Cyclone tries to get the Overlord there. Unable to for the moment. You can see these Banshees trying to get some damage on as well. Cyclone, the Hellion trying to fight back. Hellion popping out. Zergling's going down. That is going to be a good cleanup on that ramp right now. Let's just see the Infernal Pre-Igniter still building up. It's a lot of units from Clem. I mean, as Roach Speed and +1 finishes, you almost think, is there some possibility to maybe go for a big attack? You know, if you can just push across with everything and just go, then that's great. But the Banshees, I think, are a scary part of it. And Clem's already teching into Burrow and Infestation Pit. So he is looking towards a future of his own. So Clem's looking for a little bit of a different approach, basically, right now. As the Burrow continues to go, go, go. The Cyclones are building up. The Hellions on the way. We'll just have ourselves the... The Queen's going to pull back around this bottom right side as a couple of Banshees set further up to the top as well. Cyclone gets a little lock on. The Roach is going to take some damage. Banshee, Cyclone picking those Roaches off. Damage being done. The SCVs are going down. We have the Cyclones continuing to come through here. And they will just about get ourselves a couple more Roaches right at the end. So they will also go down as the single Hellion just gets a little bit of poking damage being done for the moment. A little bit extra coming through. And the Cyclone's coming forward. A couple of lock-ons onto some Queens and so on. So progress there. That armory building up. We are going to see the Hellions pulling back. Cyclones get fungled, so they're going to take some damage as well. So just continue to pull away here for a couple of moments. You're going to be seeing the Roaches, the Ravagers, and Festa trying to chase. Obviously, Fungals are a big part of this army because you're going to fungal those Terran units. That's going to be what allows you to close the distance a lot of the time and really make kind of, you know, different things come about and happen. Again, the Hellions and the Cyclones make their way out down to the south. Just going to see a couple drones going down. Couple of lava getting picked away at. And the Spire coming through. The Hydra's coming up. Infestors as well. Just having the 2-2 coming online as well. Just see those creep tumors continue to come up. Hyperflight rotors on the way in. And the +1 vehicle weapons building as well. We have ourselves an army looking to still press forwards. Look, Den is coming through too, or was coming through, he just cancelled it, so goes into a Nidus. Look, Den not going to come online for the moment. Oh, I like this run by actually. Roaches and Ling's going to close distance on the siege tanks pretty quickly. Imagine going to turn this into a bit of a surround. So the tank line going down means you don't have a lot of the DPS you're looking for. Banshees fungal. Are we just going to chain fungal them? Do we have enough damage if we chain fungal these Banshees? There are a couple of Hydras showing up, and honestly, more than anything, it keeps the Banshees from chasing the Roach Ravager down, which has gotten rid of a lot of that mech army. Now SCVs begin to drop as Clem with the fight to take, honestly, a pretty serious advantage. He's building Ling Hydra behind this. Spire coming up as well. Not sure if he's necessarily going to need the Spire. A lot of these Roaches at the very tail end are beginning to drop. Might be worth burrowing a couple more. Okay, preemptive scan is nice, but there's a few Roaches already left burrowed in the back. The only issue for Clem, obviously, at the tail end of this is he loses a lot in the last few moments. All the Lings that were made are nice, but they're going to be even better if you can actually truly get them involved. I'm just worried about all the Hellions on the way up and whether those Lings are going to have a good time. Forces one more scan. Good job by Clem with the Roaches. As we do see Clem going to come across the map with another wave. It is scary, though, because as I just read in Twitch chat, yeah, Reynor is the one up 15 workers right now, and that is a concern in the long term here for Clem, because obviously what he's doing is fine. He took a good fight there. But with a worse economy, this mech army rebuilds quicker than you expect it to a lot of the time. Planetary is not going to go down either. However, the units at the right side playing defense, the right side base is in trouble instead. Man, Reynor barely has money as well. This orbital is going to go down, no doubt. These Hydras obviously can shoot it as it flies up into the sky as well. Do we have any answer to Blue Flame right now? I guess Hellions are just going to get the gap closed on them very quickly. But like Hydras and Lings are obviously going to get blasted by Blue Flame Hellions, so that does feel a little bit tough. 27 SCVs going down. Reynor is just spamming SCVs, man. Like, you see 27 workers killed on the left. You look at the worker count, 87 for Reynor. I do think that's an issue for Clem. Like, if he was doing all of this off of 80 workers, like, those 10 extra drones can make such a difference. Now, instead, Clem is going to be adding some Vipers on. You're going to see +3 Carapace coming up. The melee upgrade is going to be done very soon. A few siege tanks building as well, as you just have the orbital command going to land on the left-hand side. The Cyclones are going to put their work in, and that Nidus network is, I think, pretty easily denied. The few Lings that pop out are just going to be sacrificed pretty much. And a couple more shots as the Lings and the Hydras pull back toward the center. Great Spire building. Like I said, could really just do a seeing Clem, I think, add that additional 5 to 10 workers still. Like, he's never going to have a huge bank if he's trading the way that he's trading on this sort of economy. That's just what it's going to come down to at the end of the day. You see the couple of shots coming about. The Queen taking some damage as well. Great Spire coming up as well, about halfway done currently. It's going to be seeing this base getting jumped on. The Queen's going to be there to fight as well. Cyclones continuing for some lock-ons right now. The Infestor's still trying to get set up as well. Reynor was at 97 SCVs. We're going to start abducting some tanks forward. We should be able to get rid of those fairly easily, but we still get a Hydra kill at least. Obviously, those abducts are meant to provide efficiency for Clem. Maybe even Blinding Clouds as well. Ooh, Clem might take this fight. He needs the... Where are the Vipers at? They're so far back. They didn't come through initially. But it really done with the Blinding Cloud on this clump of tanks so much sooner. Clem's losing a lot of supply. As the Blinding Clouds continue, we do see the Vipers taking shots. Some of them will go down. It's a messy fight for Clem. Now, Clem's not rebuilt yet, so he is going to have the money to get back into the supply lead. He's deciding what to build. It's 23 more Hydras, so going for more of the same pretty much. Command Center lifts off. Going to try and go over to that right-hand side instead. Clem going to consider his approach in these next few moments. Again, a couple of Vipers, 23 Hydras, all coming through. I see those rocks going to get jumped on by the Hydralists, so they're going to take that chance to knock on through this, open up this space. +1 flare attack is still coming on into play. We got the 2-2 upgrades coming through, the vehicle weapons and plating coming about. Abduct, and a siege tank goes down. The Cyclone's still stepping forward. Planetary Fortress is stuck in a blinding cloud. The Hellions are going to get ferocious on the other side. We're going to use a burrow to try and escape from that, but good counter damage from Reynor. As Clem will lose a decent chunk of economy there. 19 drones going down. Remember, when his economy is not the greatest in the first place, that's even more meaningful. Abduct on that siege tank would be huge. The Viper blinding clouds it instead in the end. Don't hate it because it still has some value otherwise. Fairly similar effect where you're just trying to get forward and basically create a pathway where you can fight into this army. Clem going for it once more. Abducts this next siege tank through. This time there wasn't anything else down there, so it made more sense to abduct than to blinding cloud. The Hellions on the other side of the map getting cleaned up. And again, 29 SCVs dead because Clem deals so much damage. It's coming at a very high cost because it's going to cost him most of his units. And of course, Reynor had such a ridiculous worker count in the first place. He's still at 80 workers in this game. Actually got a bit of a banger of a game here for game number 1, as it's been a chaotic affair. I tell you what, Clem losing some workers has initiated the redrone, and he's going to actually go to 87 workers now. So he's actually going to add on to the economy. Reynor's economy gets reset a little bit, but I actually don't know if I hate it for Reynor either. I mean, you could argue that Reynor maybe had more workers than he needed. You know, it seems crazy, but honestly, 100 workers is not the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen from a meching Terran, to be honest, so... Zergling is trying to get on top of the Hellions. A couple of them will go down. The Roaches will chase those Hellions as well. Just on that right top side, going to intercept those Hellions too. The Roach is going to step up. The Hellions going down. We have got the extra Hydras and Festa coming about as well. Hellions going to drop. And we do have the extra Hydras coming in. Adrenal Glands is going to begin. Spine Crawler halfway done. The rest of this army still gathering together as Reynor settles in on the top side of the map. The Cyclone's going to start locking on. Hellions blue flaming down a bunch of the Zerglings. The Infester finds a fungal growth on a few of those units as well. One more fungal out over that left-hand side. The Cyclones are still coming back through. Abducts on some of the Cyclones. Again, value being found from those Vipers. Who are the units lost in this game? 3 Vipers, 3 Infestors. So we've seen Clem be pretty good at keeping his spellcasters alive. That's very important. Caster Curse! That could not be more Caster Cursed if I tried. From 3 Vipers dead to 6. Literally doubled the moment I brought it up. I mean, he was... he was consumed in a bad place, but like, it was kind of unfortunate timing. The units are going to crash in here. I think Reynor doesn't have enough to keep on surviving, guys. I honestly think he actually did need more, like 90 workers or so, with how crazy this game was and how these trades were going. Clem is cleaning up right now, and for the first time, it feels like Clem's actually going to have army left over, but he actually loses on the left. I was not expecting. I thought he was going to do fine on the left-hand side, honestly. A couple of these Hydras continue to trade. Cyclones building, Siege Tank coming through, additional Hellions coming up. We've got Ling, Hydra, and Festa coming online from Clem as well. All of that continue to come into play for the moment. I mean, Clem just rebuilds. Now he's up on 80 workers, that little bit of boosted economy. He's also got bases for days. Reynor's not really shut down bases. When Reynor has harassed in this game, it's been about killing the workers, right? He's killed 26. He actually really only had that one Hellion run by that was successful. Otherwise, it's been Clem that's killing workers. Clem hasn't lost a hatchery all game long, so there's been no opportunity for the battle mech to really take control of the map and to, dominate the map, basically, is what it, frequently does. Drop the Ling Hydra, going to run through, and we're going to start getting a bit of a surround here on some of these Cyclones, so they begin to drop. The Hydras keep chasing forwards. Siege Tank's in trouble. Ducks are not looking good. I think it's fair to say that this army is getting absolutely swept under the rug. Again, like, I feel like, to be fair, I felt a couple of times like Reynor is absolutely losing these fights, and then he just hangs on, but this one does seem to be a moment too far. GG. That was of this series, as in the bottom left-hand side, the blue Terran player, Cyclones, were not his answer. It is Reynor in the bottom left-hand side, as he takes on the upper right red Zerg player, Team Liquid's Clem. Game 2. As we look to see what will happen here. Get this ready to go. Soul Man, thank you so much for the 9-month resub on the Prime. Thank you so much for support, and hope you're doing great. Thank you for the love as we get ourselves into the second game here. See what's going on. Catching the gas, the pool coming up as well. Thank you for hosting, no worries. Like I said, I wasn't even going to cast this. I just randomly saw it in Wikipedia just before we went offline, and here we are, so... bonus StarCraft for us. Some bonus StarCraft. Honestly, great game one as well. Excited to see what the rest of the series brings. Wonder if Reynor is going to just keep playing the mech, or if he's going to try and maybe do some other things as well, perhaps. Be interesting to see the way in which this plays out, I suppose. Bonus games are great. Yeah, I do not disagree. Bonus games are very nice. I am a fan, believe it or not. I also like it when we get additional StarCraft. Crazy, I know. Crazy. Did Reynor do the Cyclone cheese? It wasn't really a cheese. It was just a mech build. It wasn't really a cheese at all. It was pretty standard opening. Puts the Hellions head into the Cyclones. It's kind of interesting he added the Banshees on a little later, but didn't really like hard commit through to the Banshees or anything, so that's kind of intriguing. CC's coming up, factory on the way. Take a few moments here. Let's have ourselves the Reaper going to take a couple of shots of damage, so a few hits coming through. What's up, Ice of 9? How you doing as well, mate? Thank you so much for the 83-month resub. Are Cyclones seen as OP right now, or is there a good counter? It's kind of an interesting one. I think they're seen as better than they're meant to be more than anything. I think they are counterable. But I do think they're better than they're meant to be as well, which is... maybe the bigger issue is that they can just get a lot done early. And if you get that momentum going for yourself early, the game developing later on is then going to be very favorable to the Terran as well and to the Cyclones there too. So that might be kind of more of the problem than anything else, to be honest. So yeah, maybe it's a little bit more that than anything else we've got going on. As we just have the Lings coming through, Link speed is building, the Banshee and the Hellions coming about, Cloaking on the way, Orbital on the way. Main issue is that it doesn't match the description. Yeah. It was just easy to use them to counter, that too, yeah. I think the Cyclone's just not in a good place right now. I mean, I think at the end of the day as well, like, I think an interesting question would be, if you made the Cyclone how it's described right now, are Cyclones then a good unit, or are they just a dead unit? In which case, is the way in which they currently work actually okay, or is that then OP? In general, the Cyclone's just a bit of a problem unit right now in general. Like, there's so many different ways in which you can point it out as being like an issue and so on. Reynor's going to mech it up again, by the way. Factory already coming through. As soon as I gain popularity out of nowhere. I think people were very aware that going into EWC we were very likely going to see a lot of the Cyclone stuff. The thing is with the Cyclone stuff as well is that you don't need to like play it, right? Like the Cyclone builds kind of explain themselves a lot of the times. It's not like you have to be super on top of playing Cyclones day in and day out to then be able to crack it out as well, I think, is the issue, so... Don't remember a time when Cyclones were in a good place? I actually thought the previous Cyclone was good, no? I actually thought the previous Cyclone was in a really cool place where it had some niche defensive uses. Like, it had its use in some certain openers. It did not, you know, it was not a core part of the army. And that was kind of fine, no? Like, it wasn't like it never got used. Was it used every game? No. Did it never get used? No. I didn't think it was a fine unit. Like, did it have to be a unit that then got made every single game? Like, to me, I don't think so. That was my problem with them changing the Cyclone. Is that I don't see why the Cyclone had to be something that became usable in every single game, you know? I think that was always going to be a little bit problematic. Double armory coming online as the Infernal Pre-Igniter. Siege Tank Hellions continue to come through for the moment. I don't remember being used at all. It was just like, it was used defensively in TVP, for example. You know, in TVT as well, it had some builds that you used the Cyclone for. Don't get me wrong, it's not like you built the Cyclone as like, this is it, this is my core unit going, but like, it had its use as like an early game defensive / harassing unit still. I really felt like it was kind of fine there, but it's not meant to be, apparently. Yeah, as we said, Reynor's playing mech, the armories are coming online, the factories keep on building. We do see 1-1 missile upgrades and carapace coming online. The roach speed is not far from finishing, so Clem again is onto those roaches. Last game he obviously played the roaches initially, then moved more into the hydras and lings after. Interested to see if he does the same again, or if he has an adjustment to his composition, or maybe it's based on the composition he sees from his opponent as well. That's also a real possibility, so a couple of things to potentially think on. That Overlord goes down, missile and carapace upgrades coming about, burrow coming through. Roach speed finishing, and the infestation pit continues to come online as well. I'm attempting to run by, but that gets denied. I kind of like the game being a little bit more stable for Reynor right now. Last game it felt like it got kind of chaotic kind of quickly, and it was kind of good for Clem as well, because obviously he was on a lower work count than maybe he should have been, so the chaos actually helped him to trade and make that lower work count not really get abused as much as it maybe could have been. Definitely pretty interesting across the board, to be honest. Roaches come running across the map and SCV going down. And yeah, Clem just looking for some openings, perhaps. Roach is moving over. Again, the 1-1 melee upgrades building from Clem, so he's going to be melee focused. He adds in a swarm horse. I'm not sure if that's accidental right now. Accidental swarm horse, always a fun thing. We saw some players playing kind of a roachy army into like later swarm hosts. Rogue was doing this a little bit against mech a while ago. It's kind of a different, an interesting approach to kind of playing against that that mech army. First Augment's coming in, melee, carapace coming up as well. We do see some of those units coming around the other side. Fungal coming down. Banshee gets fungaled as well. Just going to see the Hellions continue to come through. Clem is getting good map control. Once again, I'm a little worried that Reynor is not super active early with this army, I guess. You know, it feels like the creep spread is good from Clem. That already feels like a very big positive. Right from the get-go, as you just see the Cyclone stepping forward. There's a couple of Hydras coming through and getting blasted as well. Queen's on the left side getting blasted also. Add on a couple Vipers. You see the Hydras back around the bottom. I love these little counterattacks from Clem, though. It's causing chaos against an army that kind of wants to fight you pretty straight up. And running into the natural like this is getting you so much value. Like, some of these units just going down that you wouldn't usually be able to catch. It's really nice. Some of those Cyclones are low. Does not get the kill on all of them, though, which is a shame. I think Clem getting a little bit ahead of himself, perhaps on the multitasking, because he's a little bit all over. And actually now, because Reynor started to settle down and got some tank siege, running in all over was not doing you any favors at all. Cyclone's tanks continue to get set up. It's going to be seeing, obviously, Clem trying to find a defense now. Finds the blending clouds onto the siege tanks. Hydras on the left are doing some work. Hellions are mostly gone, so the Hydras don't take as much bonus damage anymore. Starts to get a wraparound on the Cyclones on this right side. There's one tank far left just off screen right now that was doing a lot of shooting throughout this as the units came up from that left-hand side. Clem lives, but again, he's playing against a strong Eco-Terran player. And this time, Clem is not dealing damage to that economy throughout. Reynor going to keep up the pressure, continues to push through. Again, Clem just trying to use any spellcast he can to gain an advantage. Again, trying to collapse in on this. It's an awkward position because as he gets through this choke, he then gets to those bridges, and those bridges are kind of one of the bigger problems at that stage. Cyclone's locking him again. Hydra's going to step back through. Cyclone's taking some big damage. Now we're losing drones as well. I think Clem is running out of steam here. I think Reynor is getting the better end of this one. Looking to tie this series up 1-1 in the best of 7. Yeah, Clem is looking worse for wear. Tank gets jumped on. Infest on the right side doesn't really do much. Clem trying to find a defense, but he's just losing supply. He's also losing ground as Reynor gets sieged up further and further towards him. Clem is just going to take blasts on that army more and more repeatedly, and that's just going to be more and more of an issue as the Cyclones just find a little extra. I mean, the tanks just getting further and further forward is a major issue that they're just not really beating. You can see that unit's melting right now. Clem is going to say GG. He does not have what he needs to hang on in there, and Reynor ties it up. Game 3, thank you for the slight patience while I BRB a second. Is this live? I replay this live. Yeah, we accidentally found this series on Wikipedia. About to happen when we were about to turn the stream off, so yeah. An accidental Reynor Clem reverse race best of 7 for us today. I'm all about it, personally. All about it. So, match coming up, and get set to go. Overlord coming down the bottom side. We're just going to head across the map, obviously getting reset to the early stages. Getting going early. Seeing what's going to happen. Keep coming through. CC coming up, factory on the way in. Let's just have ourselves a few circles. Going to be stepping across. So a little bit of harassment early on. That Marine going to take some damage. The SCV has to pull away. 2 links into the main as well. Going to go after the SCV on the factory. Reaper has to pull all the way back here. But this has actually turned into a bit of a disaster. The Marine dies. The SCV in the main base dies. Second SCV going to die as well. Clem is finding value. The Reaper stopped short as well. And that SCV on the low ground just survives. But Reynor with a disastrous opener gets thrown off completely in these early stages. CV's down to the low ground. CC continuing to set up for the moment. back into the middle of the map. Orbital Command going to be finishing up here. A couple of Marines coming through. Starport on the way. Let's have ourselves the setup continuing. Very unlucky for that Reaper to not see the Lings and then everything to delve into Chaos. Like I say, great start for Clem. He's going to build that Roach Roarer again. See what he does with it. He's actually going no Link Speed this game as well, so he's just going to go straight to the Roaches in comparison to what we saw before. So a little bit different here from Clem to what we've seen him doing in the previous games as well. Isn't Terran Reynor's best alt race? No, I think Protoss is. He played Protoss much more consistently than... Because he played a lot of PvZ specifically for a while. Kind of similar to how Clem plays PvT instead of the Mirror. Reynor played PvZ instead of the Mirror for a while. So I think Reynor was always playing Terran as his second off race. But Reynor was actually just very good with both of his off races. So, to be honest, Clem is as well right now too, so... You're talking about these guys being tip-top shape. Like, these guys could enter the, Yeah. These guys could enter tournaments with their off races and genuinely be, you know, competitors, right? Like, and go very far, so... Yeah. Just seeing the extra... engineering base coming online. Barracks coming up. Banshee and the Cloak going through. So, Randall going to play Bio this game. Clem just goes into Carapace instead of the missiles, which is interesting as well. That does give him an upgrade that's going to benefit Lings if he turns this into Ling Bane eventually. So that does become an option here. The depot coming down, the command center going to come landing onto the third location as well. Just going to try and set that up. Depot coming through. Banshee is going to get rid of the drones. Going to be able to grab that as well, which is nice. As you just see, the Queen is still having a go at that Banshee. So the Banshee taking some damage right there. Some shots coming through, and the few Roaches going to split across over that right side instead. We do have the Queen still on the way. And once again, the Banshee will take a couple more shots of damage. One upgrades coming through as well, so again, just a little bit of getting settled here. It's a lot of units from Clem. I like it, honestly. Like, I feel like just, you know, he's set up to play the Roaches. He's obviously going to be playing an aggressive game compared to before, and I really feel like there's some opportunity now. This Banshee is going to be one of the things can obviously see a little bit of what's up, as there's a couple of Queens coming from that right side too. The Queens are going to take a long time to get here. Roach Ravager going to try and throw some biles up in the sky. Yep, Banshee sits in between all three of those biles. Only that one Banshee, and the Queens are stepping forward. One tank on the high ground. Clem's going to start taking the fight on the right side. I mean, this is nice. As that one tank is not really in range of the third base. Bunker not ready at all either. So Reynor, he's trying to dive into this. I do not like that at all. Diving straight in with the Marines. The thing's just a little bit... I think in this scenario, you just back away from your third base, because you're going to need your tanks to be involved to some extent. No. Use your SCVs and fight at a later point. Now we're going to step up this ramp. Reynor is actually going to have a better chance of defending now. Oh my god. It's a massacre. As Clem does not have the Ravager biles to get rid of those... Yeah, he doesn't have the Ravager biles to get rid of those tanks quickly at all, so he just ends up straight in trouble there. What was a really good start to this for Clem is now a little bit more concerning than we had previously, for sure. It's going to see that Roach Ravager still stepping down and getting set up for the moment as the Order Command going to lift up into the sky. A couple of bursts of files will drop through as well. Coming about, just going to be seeing the corrosive file coming down once more, just seeing our extra couple of shots building in. We're just going to see Clem. I mean, honestly, as Clem continues to fight now, I'm a little bit worried for him. He's going into Ling speed. He's looking for a follow-up infestation pick, going to come up as well. SCV added, as we do see the 2-2 upgrades, concussive shells, +1 vehicle weapons coming up as well. Just bringing a little bit of all this online. Again, the Baling Nest is coming up, the Hive pulling through. Reynor's going to step up with this Bioforce into the center. One Ravager going down. Going to be seeing the Medivacs continue to gather right there as we see the Hive building. The Lings coming through, Ling speed about to finish. Like I say, so the follow-up from Clem looking good. Honestly, he did so well if he just didn't try and run up that ramp, right? Running up that ramp is the one thing he should not have... is not what he was... You just don't do that and you're in such a good position. But that's what, you know, mistakes are made sometimes. Well, that was a pretty serious one as the couple of corrosive files come down again. Medivacs push back. Fire regathers, pushing up once more. Army continuing out for the moment. Zerglin's trying to get in after those SCVs. A few of those Lings going down. I mean, run by is nice. Reynor taking some damage. It's going to open the door for Clem to get in position more than anything else. He's running down, or he was about to run down the ramp into that low ground, but there's a couple of tanks that are still left forward, so that's very nice. There's another Ling run by ready. The moment Clem recognizes that Reynor is out of position again, or more over to this right side, or moving out at all, those Lings are ready to strike. And again, just ready to cause some chaos. Reynor finishing his 2-2. Yep, that's the Lings from Clem, as he just runs straight into this. Fungal growth at the front. I mean, Clem has everything all of a sudden, man. Like, he's going to have Bane speed very shortly. He's got the Fungals available. He's having an Ultra Cavern building. Reynor is in some serious trouble. Clem just needs to kind of sit back, maybe trade lightly to open some supply, ready for the Ultras to pop through. Punch in the front, taking some damage. Here comes the Ling Roach Ravager. Fungal growth's going down on this army. The couple of infestors right in the back. Corrosive Vial going to be good to knock that siege tank down. Another fungal growth catching a bunch of the bio. Continue to try and step through for the moment as the Lings gather up. Roaches getting absolutely blasted. We're going to continue to chase on through. Corrosive Vial's looking for some tanks if at all possible. Clem actually, honestly, losing a lot here. Doesn't have a ton of money immediately ready to rebuild, but he will start building Ultras. The only issue I do have is that Ultras in low numbers feel very counterable still with the army that Reynor has. A bit of bio going to step up. Another run by. Ling's on the right side. This game's chaotic, and so run bys like this are just so easy to pull off, and they're catching the Terran who's just constantly kind of a step behind, right? It's so hard to reset yourself when you're a step behind like this as the Terran, and that's the issue that Reynor's finding. It's like, you know, dealing with run-bys, if you're on top of it from the start, brilliant. But when they keep on coming, you didn't deal with the first one well, you don't deal with the next one well, it just becomes more and more of an issue. Tank shots delivering. Some Zerglings going down. Damage done. A bit of bio will gather up. The units joining up on the high ground there. And Marines, Marauders coming online. +3 attack upgrade coming through. The Ultras in production as well. Ling's going to slip by into the natural. Going to be able to go after some SCVs once again. That's going to be very nice. Going to be able to get a few of those. So some files. Was that the Ultra that got biled? Not even sure. The Infestors are full of energy. If they could find the Fungal in that bio, that would be huge. The Ultras actually stepped back as the Fungal came in, but Fungal's chaining onto the Medivacs would not be bad either. Reynor is overrun. The early game was a bit too weak for him in the end, and Clem takes the 2-1 lead, retaking the lead. And honestly, them not playing much in the first place is the only reason that matchup is still hyped, because Serral consistently just smashes Maru around. Like, I'm a Maru lover, but like, it's just not a good matchup for Maru. It's barely ever competitive. It's just always Serral. You know, like there's been one time I think Maru run. But like, generally, Serral just kind of beats him up, man. This might be one of the most overhyped matchups of all time in StarCraft. For good reason, originally, but obviously nowadays, maybe not so much. It's kind of sad, in a way. Yeah, it's kind of sad, but so be it. Clem Serral's a fun match, not Maru Serral. Yeah, I think that's a fairly, pretty fair statement. Reynor Maru's always hype. Yeah, Reynor Maru is pretty fun too. It's just Serral's playstyle really matches up very well against Maru's playstyle is the problem, right? Like, it's not that Maru can't play towards the same level of Serral. It's that the way Maru plays is naturally disadvantaged against the way that Serral plays. Maru plays very well and plays very, like, good, solid macro games, which don't overly rely on being everywhere, running the Zerg into the ground. They much more rely on keeping you in a good position and winning the war of attrition. Right? Like, Maru has sick micro. Maru can make some sick moves. But his general game plan is not to, like, it's not like Beyond style, I'm going to out-micro you everywhere, or Clem style, same idea. It's got a much broader stroke to the game plan, and I think Serral's game plan is very well accustomed to dealing with exactly that. Like, and Serral is so good at that kind of style, and Zerg is kind of generally good at, like, what Maru does is probably not the best sort of way to play TVZ, but Maru is so good he makes it work anyway. The problem is that when you play against Serral, who's really the master of that kind of aspect of Zerg, like I say, then you're just doubling down on how difficult it is, right? So then Maru basically has to play off-style or play extremely significantly better than Serral to win. Which obviously, you know, then the odds are stacked against you, right? It's very cool that players can obviously play a race in such a stylistic way that you can have matchups like that. It's just a shame that two of the GOATs match up in such a way that one of them is so heavily favored so often. I think it's weird though, because it's like no one else forces... It's weird for Maru because no one else really forces Maru to have to change the way he plays like Serral would. And so how much time investment do you make as Maru to try and figure out how to beat Serral versus... You know what I mean? Like, is it worth... Because you might not even run into Serral in the bracket, right? You know? So is it really worth him figuring out exactly all the new, unique kind of ways he's going to learn and play and figure out to such a high enough level he could beat Serral? Versus maybe just, like, prep other stuff and let's hope, like, Serral does... you know, maybe Serral dies to someone else? I don't say that's a great strategy. Obviously, he wants to beat Serral, right? But, like, there's only a realistic amount you can prep and try and, you know, deal with that sort of stuff, right? So... Depot... I actually think it was about to go down. At the top level, are there any Terrans beating the classic style TVP? Alright, I think PVT is a very interesting discussion right now in general. I think there is definitely an inherent problem in PVT where there's too much survivability for Protoss. It's the thing is Protoss used to play very differently, and over the years it's changed and changed and changed. And you know, Protoss used to be this race that had these big, awesome units or very expensive units that did very good things, Storm, Colossus, etc. But to get there, they would have to give up the rest of their army. Now Protoss can expand super quick, they can be safe while doing so, Storms keep them very safe, they can have a great army while having a great economy, while having a massive amount of gateway units that are also very good right now. Protoss is a genuine problem for Terrans at the moment. it's kind of difficult. I don't know what you do to fix it, but I think it's very apparent that, like, there's too many scenarios, I think, where Protoss come out advantaged over a Terran player. It's just what it comes down to. Like, I mean, we've seen countless times recently where I feel like the Terran is stupid far ahead. I'm not saying Protoss shouldn't be able to make comebacks, but when a Terran is very far ahead, I feel like it's still more likely the Protoss wins than the Terran closes it out, right? So yeah, it's difficult. I mean, you want to talk about Clem Classic specifically from EWC. I don't think that's, you know, necessarily a specific series you have to look at. Classic played extremely well in that series. I don't want to take anything away from Classic. He played extremely well and really kind of took away a lot of the options Clem would usually play toward. He was so good multitasking his defense and everything. I actually wouldn't say Clem Classic was a big offender of what I'm talking about. I actually think Clem Classic was a very fair representation of TVP. But there's been a lot of other matchups. Like, there was a Bjorn Zaun game where I really felt as though, to me, like, when Bjorn attacked Zaun in the position he was in, like, Zaun should never hold this attack. And he just got absolutely demolished, you know? Like, to me, this doesn't look like it makes sense. And that's kind of part of my bias as well, perhaps. But I feel like I see that happening way more often in PvT than in other matchups a lot of the time. I think a good game from Reynor, who gets himself a few drones here with this attack. Hellbats went down, but the Marine's still alive in the medevacs. Extra barracks coming through as Reynor preps for the 8-rack stage of this game here on Pylon. Looking to tie the series 2-2 if you could win this game. And yes, as well, to be fair, Bjorn has this happen to him a lot. But there's more games. I'm just thinking of Bjorn Zaun because I really felt like it was very true in that Bjorn Zaun game, where the thing is for Bjorn Zaun as well. Okay, we're going very off topic here. Seeing how much Reynor's going to do for a second before I go. Yeah, it's actually good defense from Clem if you can get on top of the Liberate and stuff. Very quickly, to kind of finalize my point, is that in the Bjorn Zaun game I was talking about, Bjorn was very ahead, and he knew for a fact, like, the problem is like, if you don't pressure, the Protoss can just build a bunch of High Templar, and then your timing window of being ahead is gone anyway. So you have to go, but if you go too hard, you step into one too many storms because you're so desperate to make sure they don't get too many storms. Like it feels like there's no right decision almost. Because if Bjorn went home and macroed that game, I actually think I would have been flaming him. But he attacked, and he didn't do the best job of avoiding storms either. But there's also, surely there's only so many storms you can avoid too, I feel like, is the problem that I keep seeing. Because I see Terrans that avoid a bunch of storms, and then they step into the one storm, and that's all it takes for the Protoss to restabilize, right? But Bjorn does have a lot of games like this, but it happens in a lot of TVP in general. But I don't know what that breaking point necessarily is. And there's still a lot of very fair TVP. It's not always the case. So, yeah. It's a very interesting matchup at the moment. This is going to be some Lings backing away up the left-hand side. Marine tank pulling over to the far left, getting ready to push up for the next few moments. 2-2 upgrades coming into play. And get back on track on this TVZ. Was on Pylon or Torches? I can't remember which map it was off the top of my head. Reynor has had some better trades in this game and setting up aggressively on this left side base. Clem doesn't actually need to defend this, I don't think. He's got a base in the far top right side, but he is going to get a wraparound, so if there was ever a time for Clem to fight, this might just be it. Bane's trying to get a target fired down. The Siege Tank does a great job of getting rid of a lot of the Banes. The Marines will evacuate in the end. Great defense by Clem. Reynor's 2-2 finished as this fight was ending as well, which is obviously unfortunate also. The Marines pulling back over the left side. Medevacs joining together. Siege Tank joining up as well. Continue to come over to the far left currently as the units gather themselves. Ultra Cavern on the way through. Hatchery, Ling, Bane coming up as well. Marines looking to step through again. A couple of Queens gathering. A couple of Banes getting picked off also. Just going to see the Hatchery taking some damage. The Viper's coming through. The Ultra Cavalry about to finish. The extra Ling's coming up as well. Why isn't Reynor playing Protoss? Because this isn't pick your off race. This is reverse race. You play the main race of your opponent. That's specifically what this matchup is advertised as. Or what this show match is advertised as. Reverse race is actually a very cool concept because it means that you benefit, you have to play all races, right? It doesn't just benefit like person who has one good off race. It's actually kind of cool. Green's going to be pressing up. Oh, we're very caught together right now. I'm scared a little bit. These Banelings are just way too late to the party. He did not parasitic bomb the Medivacs. That felt like an obvious moment to parasitic bomb. Those Medivacs were super clumped together, no? Really felt like that was a chance. Clem's doing a great job surviving, guys. I actually really like what he's been able to do here because I felt like this was, you know, a very tricksy position. I felt like Reynor had put himself in some very good places. I'm going to see a command center coming down now on that right-hand side. Wouldn't mind setting up. Marine trying to step on through. Just going to see the Lings and the Banes trying to come across as well. Parasitic bombs going into those Medivacs. We're going to split up a little bit. The Ling Bane still trying to dive on forward. Chasing through again. Clem looking for a fight to play cleanup. I love that he's got the Medivacs parasitic bombed as well. He's getting a bunch of those kills. Queen's following up. And he is just, I mean, when you've got Ling Bane left over and still chasing through, it feels very good as long as you don't overcommit through. But honestly, this doesn't really seem like that situation. Banes need to blow up those mines, and they do. The mines do not fire. This mine is going to fire on the last few units. It doesn't matter too much. A couple of Ultras are there already. And Clem is looking good to potentially take a 3-1 lead in this best of 7. A little bit more bio gathering back up. We're going to not go for the final push just yet. But honestly, there's 2 more Ultras pop. I don't know what Clem would really wait for. Maybe a morph of Banelings? I think he can go. Like, this is a bit of a SimCity Terran player. I actually think this is a good time to go. You've just won a fight, and I think Clem knows he can go right now. Reynor scan top right as well. He sees that base is up and online. That's not a good sign for him. Wouldn't mind do Burrow scares Clem off for the moment, but Clem's also waiting for the Banelings. No Infestors or Fungals here. Would have been lovely to see as these Widowmine's going to go off towards the Terran army, honestly. A little bit of friendly fire there for sure. Clem does lose some supply with the Overlord, so he's a little bit supply blocked, but I don't know if he's ever going to have to really fully max out again anyway. One Widowmine at the front does some work trying to hold on. Depot raises, but these Ultras are going to go chomping through the production that's over on this right side base. And Parasitic Bomb and the Medivacs as well to keep them pressured. This does feel as though Clem is en route to a 3-1 advantage in this best of 7. There's just no good answer to the Ultras. Liberators are building. Libs with range especially are very good in this scenario. Clem's seen these Liberators, should probably think about a Spire if he doesn't already have one. Yep, Spire goes down immediately because Corruptors just become a very obvious follow-up at this stage. Clem probably runs his army in one more time anyway because he'll have to free some supply up to make Corruptors on the next follow-up of this anyway. And there's a chance he just wins by running it in one more time. Getting rid of the production here is really nice. He's going to wrap around this planetary, and SCVs are going to try and repair, but it would be nice to get one Ultra to the bottom side just so they can chomp through the SCVs quickly. SCVs pull away though. 10 workers go down. Obviously the base goes down. That's replaceable. As Reynor steps back. Clem just needs the Spy. He needs the Corruptors. Once the Corruptors are here, they're going to put in absolute work. As Parasitic Bomb's going to get 3 of the Medivacs. I was going to say that one's kind of flying through trouble. And without healing available as well, like honestly, Ultras just continuing to find these fights is also fine. I mean, this is kind of a messy one. You're running through the choke. Trying to chase these Marines down. We stim! And that's going to bring those units low. Reynor might just be looking at GG because that's a lot of units lost. There it is. Clem takes the 3-1 lead in the best of 7. Like, and sometimes, you know, those decisions of like, oh, I can attack here, it doesn't work and the game evens out, right? Like, that's good and that's meant to happen sometimes. Right now, it feels like there's no good choice to really make when you're ahead as the Terran, I think is the problem. So yeah, it's difficult, but I think that's what makes it a little bit unfun for me to watch, because from my point of view as a caster, I feel like the players are making good decisions from the years I've spent watching StarCraft. But to me, the good decisions are putting them in bad places. I'm like, that doesn't feel fun to me, you know? So yeah, it's a very interesting and complex issue. It's not just Storm's OP, blah blah blah. Like, you know, I think there's actually a lot of complexity to it, which is kind of nice to see. F5, Reynor has tried to play the bio a little bit now. Has not really been working for him. Even this last game was actually looking pretty good for Reynor. I think it's time for him to head back to mech. And Leylines is a pretty good battle mech map as well, so maybe it's time to turn it around here. Get set and get rolling. Recall allows pros to be out of position as much as they want. That's not really true. Recall is a recall. The thing is, recall solves more of a problem than it creates, because without recall, Protoss never really were able to attack onto the map. Because Protoss gets really badly punished for being out of position. Like, they do not have the mobility of the other races. If you take recall away, I think Protoss struggles a lot. Because recall does a lot of good for Protoss and Protoss matchups. And you can play around recall because recall has a cooldown, you know? So if you know recall is on cooldown, you know you have A, safety, where the Protoss player either should not be moving out, so you can be greedy. You know, you can do things based around the recall cooldown. Recall is a very good skill, but I actually think it's a very well-balanced skill that you can play around a lot as well. And if they have to recall, then suddenly you can see you can play around the fact that it's on cooldown as well. So that's the one thing I disagree with. I actually think recall is pretty good for the game, I think, overall. It's a little bit of a band-aidy solution, but I think it's fine. Like I said, I think recall adds complexity on both sides still. It's not just like a, oh fuck, save me button. You know? Because the Protoss wouldn't be playing in the way that they play if recall wasn't there. So they play with that tool in mind, right? Protoss is super mobile, it's a myth. I mean, early game, yes. Perhaps, but like... I mean, I guess in modern day, yes, Protoss is very mobile. I guess maybe the modern day would be interesting to see without recall a little bit, because I'm kind of basing this off when they added recall, and recall then really was a good addition. They are more mobile than they used to be because they're... But the thing is, the more mobile their army is, the worse their army is as well, in a way. So... maybe that's an interesting one. It's funny because over time, a lot of the buffs to the game has been to speed this up a little bit or speed that up a little bit, right? So the game in general, units have just gotten faster over time. At the same time, right, you know, talking about recall like that, you could say about a lot of things, right? Like, you know, nowadays, like, you know, nowadays you could argue creep is so good so much of the time, like, maybe we should nerf creep in some way because Berserk's got so good at using it as well, right? You could say that Terrans, you know, Terrans have way more ways to scout because their units are more mobile than they ever were. They have medevac boosts to scout with, they have Reapers frequently to scout with, you know? So maybe they don't need scans as much, or scans should be more expensive. Yeah, it's fun. Balancing StarCraft's freaking difficult, man. This game's so complicated. If nothing else, even when you feel like the game is a bit imbalanced, you have to appreciate how well balanced it is still overall. From like a, if you take a step back, you've still got to appreciate that it's still freaking balanced, considering how different everything is, you know. Anyways, good job, chat. You've not gone crazy while discussing balance today. I'm impressed, genuinely. Because the Marines are going to get rid of this Overseer. Clem hits a low supply block. Only just now fresh Overlord starting, so a little bit of a problem there as the Infestation Pit finishes for him. He's playing the Roaches. Once again, it's going to be Bio out of Reynor. The Roach Speed about to finish. The Carapace upgrade done soon. Link Speed being added on as well. A few of those Ravagers are going to be morphing in. Nice Hellions to get rid of all three of those Creep Tumors. It's nice. I see one more Creep Tumor going down. The 2-2 upgrades coming about. The Nelly upgrade building on the other side. Tanks should have access to Stim. Yes, I agree. You would have thought after like 15 years, the Terrans would have, you know, found some better technology so that units like just do things better, you know? It's been 15 years and you're telling me siege tanks still siege up at the same rate and they still do the same damage? Like, we didn't find anything better to put in the attack cannon of a siege tank? Crazy. Roaches are going to show themselves to deflect the Hellions. Over to the left-hand side. Why not Hellions with stims? Because that doesn't seem as atrocious as siege tanks with stim. That doesn't seem as ridiculous of a suggestion to crank out. Rain's coming through. Hellbat's going to morph in. Just going to see this medevac force overhead doing some healing as we get out toward the center. Army of Reynor. Stepping forward. So Reynor going to step out onto the map. And I mean, Clem has been pretty just left alone, though, and this is the problem if the Terran just leaves the Zerg alone. Clem is hitting the Ultra Cavern. He's getting upgrades. He's got good creep spread. Clem is in a very considerably just solid position. And the craziest thing is I don't think he's in a rush to do much right now. Like, he can just let Reynor step forward, wait for him to maybe step a bit too far forward, and then pull the trigger. Ideally, Clem just waits for Ultras, because Ultras are not something that Reynor's prepped to deal with at all just yet. I think we're obviously going to have some fights without Ultras, though. There are going to be some Vipers available here, so they could Blinding Cloud or do something about the Siege Tanks. First Viper dies, though. Marines just get a target fire down on that, and Clem doesn't have Bane Speed yet either, so I think he's actually a little afraid of actually fighting this army. I thought he was going to be okay because of the Vipers, but the Vipers have not even been included just yet, and this actually might be an issue for Clem. Blinding Cloud goes down right far back. Another Viper dies. Don't even know what killed that Viper, just Marines target firing. Oh my god, Reynor is just crushing his Clem. Was not as ready for this as I thought he was going to be. He was actually like 20 seconds away from truly being ready, and I actually think the bigger issue is he maybe fought a little bit too soon. In this scenario, I think if you see that you're not quite ready to fight, you just pull back. I mean, you don't want to lose the 5th hatchery. Better to lose the 5th hatch than lose so much army, though. The issue is by losing that hatchery, you obviously lose the position here, which allows the Terran to siege up kind of towards your base. And that's why Clem is a little bit anxious about kind of fighting early, because he knows how good a position that is for the Terran. He doesn't want that to kind of be really utilized, so gonna fight in again here. Bane's gonna try and find their way through. Corrosive File's doing a good job. The Banes do find a good clump of Marines, to be fair, but I don't think we're gonna have enough at all. Ultras are gonna be popping without chitinous plating for a few moments. Those Ultras are not gonna be as effective as they really want to be. First one just absolutely melts, and Clem will not have enough to hang on in there. Reynor's gonna bring it back a map just like that. GG. GG. Reynor gets another map on the board. Really just hit in the bottom left-hand corner. We're going to have ourselves the blue Terran player. This is Reynor. Can he bring it all the way back to a 7th map for us here today? Clem on the right-hand side. Red Zerg. Getting set up. Go down, barracks building, and get settled in. triple racks. 3 racks Reaper. This is the one thing the Terran's obviously going to love on this map with that super open kind of ledged main base. Definitely something to look at and take advantage of over on that side. A couple extra barracks coming through, so we just get settled in here for a couple moments. Looking good for now. Last couple of Reapers is going to come about. Lings and Queens on the way. Had a Roach roaring on. As Clem going to cancel the Ling speed and decide to play the Roaches to get set up here for the next little bit. A bit of fighting going down. A little bit of action taking place for a few moments. Going to see those Reapers coming back around. A couple of Queens going to gather up together. It's actually hopping up, but the Ling's going to be in a good defensive spot for the moment. That's a lot of Reapers though, and damage adds up. But the Roaches are going to be popping soon. It does give you a good shot at dealing with these Reapers. Now, more and more Reapers are being built. It's Clem, I think it's about patience right now. If you play patiently, then that would be generally a better way to approach things. Little grenade coming down. So maybe seeing the Ravagers going to start moving forward, so they're going to start stepping up right away here. These Roaches actually get across the map. Ravagers have that little bit of extra range, which you like. Little grenade there is going to bop the Roaches around. Obviously, speed zone helps the Roaches and Ravagers run. Helps the Reapers run too. This Clem is going to continue out down to the bottom side. More and more Reapers being made. I think there is a point here where Clem is perhaps in a little bit of danger. Has to go up the ramp here. Good grenades. 2 Roaches go down instantly. You can see where Clem's units are going to start getting outnumbered a little bit. Those Ravagers still getting good connections though. Files from afar, going to hit the bunker. Clem not going to overcommit, more Roaches building, but he's getting the 3rd hatch up as well, most importantly, which helps out a bunch as well. You see that Ravager going down again. So Ravager falls, a bit of other Roach Ravager coming across as well here currently. A couple of grenades popping for the moment. Damage being done, another Roach will fall. One more Corrosive Bile coming up. This will continue to go toward the upper right-hand side, so just trying to make a little bit of a move for the moment. Again, 2 more barracks building up. We continue to get settled in. This game has been kind of funky. Reaper's obviously still in good numbers. How does Clem want to approach the next stage? He's actually down on workers right now as these 2 Queens are just going to be caught in their own Roaches. And the Ravager trying to get there. We at least get rid of 1 more Reaper. Reynor has still been building Reapers as well. He's only just got 1 Marine, and now he's going to maybe start building more Marines in general. This game almost looks like U-Thermal or Laser. Oh, there's not enough Reapers for that just yet. We're not quite that crazy committed for the moment, so maybe soon though. Maybe soon. Half an hour units gathering up. This in the main base. I mean, this is the issue, right? Is oh, the Evo Chamber attempt does not go down. We're going to lose a bunch of drones here as Clem. 5 workers down, lose the Queen. This is the problem with the Roaches, is that over time, their mobility is heavily abused by these Reapers, and you can see Reapers with grenades can absolutely hold positions way longer than you expect, and they trade better against Roaches than you expect as well, to be honest. I think Clem's in trouble. I mean, he's doing nothing but droning right now, which helps, but Reynor has improving his game state, like 1-1 upgrade, stim pack, combat shield, all on the way through. Clem is not doing any of that, you know? None of that's really coming up in return, so I think that is going to be a genuine issue over the next little bit of time. Marines is going to go in after the Overlord there. Just going to be able to knock that down a little bit. You can see those Reapers actually going to go after a couple of the extra Roaches. More shots coming through. Reapers still trying to fight. A couple of Roaches still taking some hits. Just getting so much value from these Reapers. I mean, they may finally get cleaned out. A few of these Roaches trying to get a catch on them. So we'll get a few more, but I mean, they've paid for themselves tenfold. Like I say, Clem does not really have much of a feature in this game at the moment, is the current issue, I would say. Those Marines doing again, Overlord. I mean, this is the sort of push right now, which I think is going to be a little bit of a problem. Because, well, A, Clem's getting mega supply block, and B, he just doesn't have the tech to deal with this. Stim in! And, don't think twice about it. I don't think we need to go after the hatch. I actually think we should just chase Roaches. If you offset this army, I don't think Clem can really reinforce enough to really deal with it at all. Reynor bringing it back, and we are going to get 7th game of this series. Maganatha will be the final map, as we are going to go the full distance between these two guys. It was not they got invited to play a best 7, they were like, okay, and then they screwed around. No, they were said, hey, do you want to play a best 7 with reverse races, which I do think makes a little bit of a difference. I know, I think it is noteworthy. They're coming into this is what they were expecting to play today. Reynor bottom right, Clem upper left. Game 7 on Maganatha starting off right now. Alright, we settle in. Get set to go. Yeah, Hatchgasm pool coming up. We get ready to go. And see what our final map will give us here on the Maganatha. Big map in general, so maybe worth thinking on. Dropping down. Peaceful few moments early. I'm just going to do pop down third. Hatch drops. Nothing really wild, right? Clem just gets the third hatchery down. Reynor settling into the triple CC. Reaper shows up to start poking about a little bit. Factory swaps off and into the reactor, so we are going to be able to start seeing a couple of Hellions starting to come through, getting those up and running here. And yeah, Starport continues about. Just going to see that Reaper is just going to ping through the hatchery for a little bit. A couple of Queens getting some damage on the Reaper as well. Can you speed mine with mules? What is speed mining? I don't know what speed mining is, so I don't actually know. It's gonna be my hands. Things on the other side. Actually gonna get into this natural, start killing some SCVs. Hellions out of position. Good run by timing from Clem. Yeah, 4 SCVs go down. Really nice little catch. That is some good little bit of damage done. Let's just see the Queens. Shift clicking like with workers. Oh, to make them accelerate. Yeah, I don't know. never tried it. Never cared to look into it. Yeah, to stop the deceleration. Yeah, stuff's crazy, man. Guys, again, you guys ever think these guys are just getting too good at the game? Anyone ever just considered that? Seconds moving around. We do have the lair coming up, a couple of spores on the way through. Mostly preparations here, but I mean, it's very early spores. I mean, Tech Lab just coming on the starport now. It will be a Banshee. Gas 3 coming in. Cloak starting. Reynor played Mech the first 2 games of the series. Does he go back to it for this? Magnath is a pretty huge map as well, so some Battle Mech may not be completely a miss. 4th gas would be a definite tell. 3 gas is maybe more than you need, but so yeah, kind of leaning towards maybe seeing some mech here. Oh, armory, double armory. So we are going to see some mech. We're going to see double armory and upgrade-based mech first. Interesting. Hellions get a queen. Nice catch as the Roach Roaring comes down from Clem. Preps the Evo chambers as well. Hellions back out over that right-hand side. Just going to see a couple of creep teamers just going to get jumped on. Some damage going to be done there right from the get-go. We'll see a couple of Hellions continuing through for the moment. Coming down that right-hand side, we do have the third hatch. Oh, sorry, the third command center taking place already. Let's see. On the mini-map, it looks out of location. I think I'm just going a little crazy. Let's see, we know it's going to be mech, so the extra factories are done. The 1-1 upgrades have begun. Hellions will go after 1 queen already. If I can go after the Overseer. Again, nice run by from Clem. One of the some of the games he had earlier that were very good for him were games where the run bys were good, they were consistent. This was nice. Obviously, these SCVs having to be microed into that corner the entire time. It's very Hellion heavy right now with a couple of Banshees. Clem's stepping forward with Roaches, right? So maybe he wants to trade into the Hellions a little bit. The Banshee should be an answer to this. So obviously the Hellions can kite back as well, so you minimize the shots you take. But we'll not be able to honestly do much here. I don't think there's much to gain. It's actually just going to be Hellions into tanks, which I guess we know as well because it's armories. The double armory early takes away the chance that this is going to be something more along the lines of a you know, of Cyclones, because Cyclones don't really benefit from those upgrades as much, so you don't really go double armor, then build Cyclones or anything like that. Let's see a few of those SCVs on. Mind that fourth location. Couple drones going down. Some Banshee harass will hit. Chase away for the moment. Just going to be seeing the Hellions doing out a roach on the watchtower. The rest of the roaches stepping up. And factories and CCs coming online. Hydras and the Hive coming online as well. It's going to be seeing these Hellions getting rid of some of the creep. Big map. You do not want to let the creep get out of hand. It's going to be one way that Clem can take hefty control of this game already. Alien tank gathers. As you see a couple extra siege tanks coming through. Tanks going to split out. We'll begin to siege. Again, Vipers coming through. The Lings are coming online. You just have the he's gathering there. The Viper's building as well, by the way. So we're getting those Vipers out. I mean, Clem again is left not really to his own devices, but he's not been under like a ton of pressure or anything here early. Alien tank still moving up. Banshee's going to gather. CC's going to take position. The tank's relocating. Plus 2 vehicle weapons and plating coming through. Add on that mag field. We have a Baneling nest about halfway done. Spire being added on. Plane's going to start fighting for a few moments. Let's see that Blind Cloud getting struck down onto a couple of those siege tanks. Let's see those couple of tanks getting siege for the moment. Continue to look good for now. Just going to be having the Hydras continue to build up. A couple of Vipers coming through. Everything else continue to come on in. It's going to be seeing the army of Reynor starts to take to the map here. Clem trying to get to the Ultras. He's got quite a few Hydras at the moment. A couple of Infestors mixed in. Still has himself the Viper count looking good. 5 Vipers for now. And again, there's a couple of Fungals. That's the only Fungals he's got. He's only got 1 Infestor. It's a very Hydra heavy in comparison. Going down. A couple of ducks on the Vikings right there. The Hydra's still trying to push through. A couple more siege tanks trying to fire away as well. Still trying to find just a little bit of anything we can get going for the moment. I think just a little bit of back and forth. It's going to be seeing the Vipers coming through with the Blinding Clouds once again here. The Hydra still getting some work done. Tanks going down. Blinding Clouds enabling you to fight here for longer than expected. I mean, to the point where Clem obviously should probably just pull away. And he does choose to do that in this moment now as we step away. Tank still putting the work in. Hat-tree taking damage. 17 roaches and a bunch of Lings continuing production. Where Aspire will be finishing soon as the tank's still putting work out. Cannons move across. A couple of these creep teamers dropping as well. Nice little scan as we were able to get rid of a few more creep teamers once again. So again, damage being done across the board on that left side. But I'm just going to focus a little bit on counterattack over here. We'll get on top of a couple of tanks on siege from Reynor as he will be able to lift them into a medevac to save them. And he does save both those tanks. The Hydras try and press forward as well. Can the Hydras get on top of these unsieged tanks? That would be great if they could. Few of the Hydras on the orbital right now could be brought a bit further forward. Two of the tanks go down. You can't really lift them into the medevacs because the Hydras can hit medevacs too, obviously. This is a problem. There's a lot of tanks going down in the background, and Reynor has to give up a lot of map control to pull back and deal with this. So this counter step from Clem puts in a lot of work for him. Orbital goes down here as well. SCVs, a few of them will drop as these Hydras will go down, but they definitely got value. Eco damage and real army damage across the board. Orbital command will drop into place. Just going to see the circle on the right side nibbling away. Feelings get there. Siege tank going down. Just going to be having the Hellions taking some more damage. Abduct. Both tanks going to fall. Hellions get a couple of drones. Actually, that top right base may be an opportunity for those Hellions, but we're not going to deal with it right now. We're going to see the Hydra showing up here. The replacement orbital guys moments after it's arrived, so not exactly great. A bunch of these medevacs looking to drop Hellbats into the Hydras. The Hydras are moving through the Blue Flame Hellions at the moment. Here come the medevacs. Going to drop the Hellbats in as well. This is an extremely effective trade from Reynor as Clem loses so many Hydralisks. What a catch from Reynor. And great identification. I was thinking about the Hellions pulling in from that top right-hand side, and I was like, uh-oh. Because that felt like a base they could do some work on. But it really comboed up to clean up this army, so it was really worth it in the end. Clem is still rich enough to rebuild. He's still only on 73 drones. We go back to the first game they played, which was a game very similar to this in a lot of ways. And that was a game where Clem did not build a lot of the... a lot more drones than this as well. It was a similar kind of situation. It seems like a similar kind of idea right now is... Reynor is again very worker heavy. The Vipers do make it back to the rest of this army. Abduct on one Liberator. Hellion, Hellbat going down. Tanks get abducted in. Multiple tanks dropping. There's a lot of tanks going down, honestly. Good abducts. A lot of these tanks just not sieged as well, and Clem is going to get away before Reynor's tanks will fire. 4 additional Liberators in production. Advanced Ballistics. It's going to be done very soon. Spore getting underneath and we'll chase that Liberator down. Vipers coming across. Hydralisks trying to get settled. It's going to be seeing those tanks gather. We keep a bit of movement going as well. Ship weapons coming through. A couple command centers building. The Libs will siege out to the upper right-hand side. The rest of the tanks will be sieging up, and the army still pressing down the middle. Just going to step up. Just going to jump straight onto that planetary fortress. So that goes down immediately as the rest of these SCVs will also be taking some damage. It's also going to be a grab. Refineries going down. More SCVs. Continue to drop. Going to step up this side. A couple cancels on command centers. I mean, Reynolds just kind of ping-ponging from one side to the other. Clem's doing a great job of taking control. I mean, obviously another orbital goes down. That does feel replaceable still for Reynor, but at a point where, like, we killed a lot of bases, right? We killed 3 orbitals, 1 planetary this game as Clem. 3 fresh CCs ready to go. So, like I say, it's a very replaceable base. If Clem keeps this up, replacing it forever and ever and ever is not exactly something you want to be doing, right? So, it does kind of work in 2 ways there. Tanks move back over to the sides. Hellions and Hellbats gather back to the right as well. Approaches, Hydras coming through. Gonna see that command center. In a little bit of trouble. Nice abducts on the Liberator's going to see one of those going down. Second Lib going down. We continue to pull back. The Medivacs flying overhead. The Hellbats drop straight in. Oh, again, the Hydras are just not going to cut it right here. As soon as these Hellbats get a good fight, the Hydras melt. And Clem is insistent on continuing to rebuild the Hydras. 33 new ones coming up, but the Hellbat drops have been the killer move from Reynor. And they have a couple times over completely reset this Hydra count and completely forced Clem into re-establishing all of those Hydras a second time over, which obviously is expensive and not something we can really keep up with in the long term. Tanks firing, Hellions firing. It's a base that'll go down from Clem. He is starting to take both corner bases, so he's beginning to establish elsewhere. And as we actually step forward again, Hydra Viper looking to come straight through. Siege tanks already dropping off. The Hydras continue to do some more damage. Hellions are dropping. Damage is actually looking good right here from Clem initially, but then the Hellions are going to get on top of the Hydras, and Clem just not going to have what he needs. This army is a little bit too powerful. The Hellbats have done enough. Reynor was down 1-3 in this series, but it looks like he might win it 4-3 in total. Cyclone with the lock-on hatchery taking hits is going to go down. The Briswell Siege. It's going to be seen a Hydra still getting picked away at. Hellions, Cyclones back up to the top. That's will put a little bit more damage out. A little bit coming through for the moment. Just going to be seeing a couple more corrosive files coming down. Spikecaller firing. Those Queens trying to put the work in. Obviously, a lot of Ravagers now trying to help out, but I just don't know if Clem's army is really cut out to kind of deal with this at this late stage. Again, he's got a lot of spellcasters. He does not have a bank to play with. Is going to be, I think, one of the more unfortunate parts of this at the moment. Seeing those fungal growths connecting, Medivacs going down, another nice blinding cloud coming through as well. Reynor just has too much. Clem can't stay in this. I think this one was kind of seen coming from a little while away, as Clem was just unable to